It was Decino Javon. The show will play in a couple of seconds. I just want to take some time to point out that there was some audio difficulties during the interview of these podcasts due to the COVID-19 situation. It's not your headphones and not your connection. It was the connection between me and the interviewee during the podcast because we did not have the proper equipment due to everything being on lockdown, but we still made it work. So please like, comment, share, and enjoy the show. Peace out. This is Cino Javon, music artist, entrepreneur, podcast director. This is Mimi on the Block, a podcast and interviews regarding different topics. A lot of people have a habit of locking their emotions aside. Mimi on the Block is a platform where you are free to unleash those emotions without judgment. You'll be hearing me sitting with local artists, local creators, and good vibe people who wanted to discuss topics of their choosing. This podcast is all about love, laugh, and joy. Hope you enjoy. Like, comment, and share.
Yeah, so whenever whenever y'all ready, we can do it and get right into it. So.
All right.
Rachel's ready. Sulani, are you ready? All right. And we can laugh too. Like don't be trying to hold it, y'all laugh. Like this is supposed to be like a real genuine conversation. So it's like people supposed to relate to us. So it's not like everything not supposed to be professional or scripted and nothing like that. It's a genuine conversation. So I'm gonna be myself. So if I make y'all laugh, y'all don't have to be like trying to hold trying to hold y'all laugh. But I'm drinking my wine right now, so I'm lit. So
drinking some water.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Sulani, what you drinking on? What you got?
I had some Hennessy earlier.
Okay.
I still kind of feel it.
Okay.
Okay, go get you another cup.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, you dog. All right, y'all ready though?
Ready as will ever be.
All right. Well, welcome to Meet Me on the Block. This is your host, Cino Javon. This is episode 1. If you're listening today, then you already saw the title that today we'll be talking about relationships. And the type of relationships is love relationships with a man and a female, and a female and a female, and a male and a male. It doesn't matter. They're talking about couple relationships today. And our guest stars today is people that I actually grew up with. I know pretty much my whole entire life. It will be Chillray, known as Ray. We call her Ray, in front of D. But her name is Chillray on the Instagram. Then we got Ray&Tulauni in the cut, and she known as 22_Lane. And you feel me? Yes, I shouted you out. And then my homeboy, aka Juice. He will appear later in the episode. He has some technical difficulties right now in the beginning, but you will hear him later throughout the episode. And we just want to welcome you to Meet Me on the Block, episode 1. Let's get it. What's up, y'all?
What's up?
All right. Yeah, that was lit. The intro was lit. So you know what I'm saying?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm a pro at this. All right.
I taught you well.
Yeah, she did, y'all. Because I couldn't speak to anybody for a long time. So all props to Rachel.
Thank you.
But all right, so we about to get right into it. We are talking about relationships today. So I'll just go get straight to the point. Y'all girls tripping, bro. Like, what's up with y'all in these relationships, man?
Hold on.
How are we tripping? What did you go through?
It sounds like somebody hurt him.
Right.
First of all, y'all both know my story of what I went through and what I constantly go through. And Rachel, you already recently knew what I went through, like recently, with a female. So I ain't trying to hear that. I'm just saying, nowadays, I'm seeing more women out here becoming savages. Like, y'all the pimps now. Like, I see more men trying to be like in the relationships, and y'all out there don't care no more. Y'all living y'all city girl life. Like, what's up? What's going on?
As we should.
Right.
I mean,
right?
I respect that.
I mean, nothing is really going on with me. Well, it is kind of, but I don't know. I'll let Rachel go first.
I mean, ever since Megan Thee Stallion released Savage, it just kind of woke up everybody inner savage. So I think it was Megan Thee Stallion's fault. I think she played a big role in
Oh
that.
yeah, bringing the hot girl summer into play. I agree.
So y'all
You know,
blaming Megan for this
yeah,
urge.
she brought out, Savage, Hot Girl Summer, like she just kind of, well, actually, we gonna throw it back to Drake because when he dropped Nice for What, I just stopped giving a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do me.
I mean, yeah, I would say
So,
Drake did start it. So I would say. So pretty much y'all way of acting now, y'all pretty much saying y'all don't give a fuck about the niggas anymore because I
A
guess
lot
and
of the guys be on bullshit too, but go ahead.
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying like the reason why a lot of women nowadays are living their best life, which y'all should. I never stop anybody from living their best life, and they turning up is because y'all tired of the bullshit from the niggas. So that's like pretty much the whole point of the savage life y'all having right now.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think even in the bigger picture, it's about like women loving themselves and knowing their worth
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and just not putting up with shit that guys give them and then returning the same energy that guys give. Like, I feel like a lot of women are scared
Mm.
Yeah.
to put out the energy that a guy gives them because we're like told that it's not ladylike or, the way society might look at us might be bad. But at the end of the day, I think it's about how you feel about yourself that's important. And if being a savage is what you want to do, then I'm all for it.
And I think it's nothing wrong with not wanting to be in a relationship. Like a lot of girls function better, believe they feel like they do better without a guy being in their life. They're having fun. Like you said, it's a hot girl summer, especially young girls today, the millennials. They just, I think we all think the same. Not everybody. Of course, everybody has their own opinion. I'm just saying the young ones.
Hmm.
Gotcha, I gotcha. And I definitely understand and respect that. I feel like everybody should live their life, turn up. You don't owe anything to someone. Now, what do you say to the people who are in relationships that's realizing, you know what, I'm tired of this BS. I'm about to live my savage life. Like, do you think that could start a toxic trait that people that's already in relationships that's trying to do this savage life as well?
Um,
It
yes.
kind of depends on.
Uh, I mean, I don't think you should be trying to be a quote unquote savage while you're in the relationship.
Yeah.
Um, I think if you realize that that's something you want to do, like you should probably try to get out of that relationship so you don't
Hurt
hurt
the
or
other
damage
person.
that other person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
Because they might see something completely different, of course.
right.
So, what do you say to the people who wants to be in a relationship? I speak on a guy's perspective. Let's say I'm in a relationship. You know, I like my girl, you feel me? But sometimes I like to turn up too as well. But I'm loyal though. But most of the time, a lot of women be thinking I'm cheating. I got girls on the other line I'm talking to. But I like to turn up, but I'm still loyal at the time. And they don't want me to turn up. They feel like if I'm having this party
Because
life,
they know you easily attract other chicks. They don't want you doing too much to where they're like, okay, so who was you flirting with?
mm.
What happened?
Yeah,
But what happened?
I definitely agree.
I'm not though. So like, do you think that's like a toxic trait of trust, word, like communication and being
Like if you're
trustful?
going to bars or nightclubs or whatever, why can't you just take your partner with you? You guys
See,
just do it together.
I'm glad you said that because I will put in my personal relationship, my past relationship. She didn't like going to the clubs at all. She liked that she's a homebody. She stayed at the house, but I don't want that party. I actually encouraged her to come with me plenty of times, and she never wanted to go. So when I go, it was always a problem, and she always thought I was cheating or I was talking to somebody else.
Hmm.
But she never wanted the relationship to end. She just wanted to be controlling And I felt like that was a toxic trait of a relationship because I felt like I wasn't.
So
She
she
didn't
just
trust me.
didn't trust you, or were
I
you
don't know.
guys
It
just
was.
like communication skills on point?
I feel like communication is like, to my eyes, is the first key in a relationship. That's a successful relationship. And I communicated with her that I do like to hang out, I do like to go to parties. She was older than me at the time. She was 3 years older than me. So at the time we were dating, I was 19. So I never really like went to parties like that. So I wanted to have some fun. And I told her that. She said she was cool with that. But when we started getting closer and stronger in our relationship, she started trying to be more controlling and trying not to let me go. I guess she was feeling the same way where you was feeling, where you feel like you draw a lot of attention now. So I guess the older I got, the more I was transforming. So I was getting a lot of more attention. So I think that she got a little jealous of that because she don't like the party, so she didn't want me to party as well. Because I think she didn't want me to find someone who does that I started liking because she wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like,
I definitely, yeah, I agree.
yeah, and I feel like that's the kind of main problem in relationships. I feel I feel like a lot of people don't want to be controlling, but they're scared that if they don't do certain things that their partner are interested in, they might find somebody else who is, and they might lose them. So I feel like it's like a security blanket, but it's a toxic
Hmm.
security blanket that they're doing in the relationships.
I feel like I'm currently like on the side that your ex is on. Like, my partner is like very outgoing and likes to go out to bars and like clubs and stuff. And I'm more of like a homebody. I like to be at home, read, watch TV or whatever. Um, so I completely understand where you're coming from. I just don't know exactly how to fix that like toxic trait where you're not being so controlling, but at the same time trying to make sure your relationship is secure. Like there's a certain like boundary you have to not cross, I guess, or like a certain gray area you have to stay in where you're not being controlling and being possessive, but and not being insecure, but also making sure your relationship isn't in jeopardy.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of um I don't think a lot of us younger women and sometimes men know how to navigate between those feelings or how to communicate that. It's very difficult for me to communicate that without it sounding possessive or obsessive or controlling. So I definitely see where that is an issue, but I'm not exactly sure how to fix that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and I definitely feel that. Talani,
That's a main. No, the club is like the main area to where you can leave with somebody or with somebody's number, or like too many drinks could lead into this talking to that person. It's just a lot of,
Temptation.
yeah. That's like one of the
Yeah.
main places. So that's why I can kind of see the other side as well. I can see both sides. Like, you don't trust me, but still, I know A, B, C, and D is happening here. So it's just still like,
yeah,
why?
I could say that I fell into the deep end later through the relationship where I I feel like the worst thing in a relationship is when you have someone that's doing those type of I call it toxic traits. It's because it's not intentional. It just they don't like in Rachel, in your situation, you saying you don't know how to come off not like toxic by saying how you feel about those situations. So I feel like the
Hmm.
person, when you come off toxic, they retrieving it toxic. So I feel like that's why I said communication is always key. Cause you can be genuine, like concerned, like I don't want to lose you. Like you like I like to be with you. I just don't like you doing that. But he could take it like, oh, you just not trusting me, and it could cause rebellion and it could cause the very thing that you don't want to happen. Just because he
Hmm.
miscommunicated with like how the way he's retaining the information that you're giving him. And I feel like
Right.
that's the same situation with us. was I would say certain things, like you could say how you feel, but someone could retain that information differently than what you would expect them to. And I feel like that's caused problem.
Right.
So I feel like that's why I said communication is key. And I see that in a lot of relationships. I feel like to stop that is basically to be upfront. Just be like, look, I don't like you doing this or this and that. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm not trying to be toxic or anything. I'm cool with you doing that. But at the same time, it's something in me that I feel like I'm not good enough because I feel like I can't do that with you, or that's not my type of interest, and I don't want you to feel like I'm not into you. Is I'm not into that particular thing that you like doing. I just scared that you will find somebody better than me that's into that, and you will leave. So I'm sorry if I'm coming off this way, but I'm kind of uncomfortable with that. And I feel like if you come at them that way, it's for a man or a woman. Come at your partner that way and just understanding. I feel like it could cause more success down the road with communication.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say communication is key. And Rachel, we did talk about this yesterday, but you actually said what did you say? You said communication was key, but you said something else, like it was better.
So I agree that communication is key and having that conversation with your partner is important, but it's also important that you put an emphasis on comprehension. Um, so you can communicate something with your partner with a level head and, be calm or whatever, but sometimes that person may not feel the same way that you feel. So now you're both at a roadblock and you feel differently than the other person, even though you are communicating. But a step further from there would be to comprehend what that person is saying and to um, just try to understand how they are feeling. I think a lot of the time people fall short on that aspect in relationships.
Mm,
So even though you're talking to that person like, yeah, I don't want you to do this or that, or something that you're doing is making me feel this way, that person may take in what you're saying, but they may not really be listening to you. They may not be trying to understand how you are feeling so they can better the relationship. So up front, it may look like they are just like, okay, well, um, I understand what you're saying, but this is, this some people, for some people, it's like, well, this is how I am. This is what I'm used to doing. I'll try to do it less, but I'm still going to do it. So sometimes it leads to that person feeling like, well, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And
Just trust. I think trust just plays a big part in it too. Because I don't know if it may be different for couples who are engaged or married to know,
mm.
like, hey, this is not going to happen. And then when they're there, like, no, I'm married or no, I'm engaged. So I don't know. That may be different though with just regular couples and people who've eloped already.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad you actually said the trust of someone. I feel like that's the kiss of death to relationships. Lack of trust, because if we don't have trust, then there's no point of us talking. Because that
hmm
means I
hmm
always use the line where I work a 9 to 5 job already. Already, I'm not about to work overtime checking your phone when I get to the crib and
Mm-hmm.
seeing you cheat. If I gotta do all that, then we're not speaking, bro. Because I gotta be able to know that you ride it out for me and I ride it out for you. It had to be even. Like it's a commitment.
Right.
If it's like a line between the middle, or it's like, oh, you could be committed or you're not, and I'm starting to worry and panic, that's affecting my mental health issues. Because now I'm starting to stress
Right.
more, and I'm starting to get sick, and I'm starting to tear up my own body over what you're doing, or what you could be doing, having fun with, and you don't care about me because you're doing it. So then I'm panicking about it, and that's tearing my health apart. And I feel like, no, like we only got one life, so I feel like it got to be even. And that's why I said trust is key, communication key, and comprehension is key as well. That's like retaining the information. Communication is being open with your person in a gentle, vulnerable state with your partner, and trusting your partner. That's the main top forms. I also feel like another issue in relationships is jealousy and insecurity. I feel like I honestly fall in
hmm
that trait in my past relationships. I wouldn't say my past relationships. I said my old relationships. It's just because everybody y'all don't know, your boy is 5'5", okay? I'm Kevin Hart size, you feel me? I just go be honest. I know my pictures, I look tall. I photoshopped that. So don't be trying to rank on niggas. But no, I'm just saying, like, this back in the day, Rachel Son, y'all know me. I was 5'5". No girls were really trying to give me a chance just because of my height. I had to literally almost pay my prom date to be my prom date.
You
Just
had to
because,
pay her?
Mm.
Well, almost had to pay her?
yeah.
I
I just
didn't
playing.
know.
I just playing. It was almost up to pay, but I should have shoot. Like she was just there for like just appearance wise. Like I didn't even know her to that night. That was the first night I met her. It was a family friend daughter.
It was your secret weapon.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying. Like a lot of people really was just like always said I could be dateable, or they would gave me a chance if I was just this tall, or I'm too short. That's why they couldn't go to prom with me. I can't be taller than my date. I
Mhm.
always heard that about my height, so it made me insecure. And I feel like when I was in relationships, um, when you always been told that you have a disadvantage in something, and like for a long
Mhm.
time, you start to feel like why this person is with me. I've been rejected so many times, and then when that one person actually choose to accept me, I been feel like it's lies. Like I be like, what are you trying to get out of me? Like all these other people
Right.
saw me at a low
Yeah.
scale, but you saw me at a high scale. Like what? Like why? Like why me? And I feel like
Yeah.
that's caused problems where you always see other people like a certain type, especially the person like I dated like the tall dudes, and that she was attracted to muscular dudes, and I wasn't muscular or tall. So I'm like, why are you dating me? I
Mhm.
like these
To me,
dudes.
they it seemed like they just look past that and they see you for you.
And yes, you're definitely right. But I feel like people go through a situation where we don't look at that is because our insecurity goes to jealousy. Because you can look and see that I'm a good person inside. But who to say if you going in class or you go and you working with a coworker that look like Dwayne Johnson? Like who to say? And he and
The
he
Rock. His
the
name is The Rock.
the Rock, aka the Rock. But I'm just saying, like you go in those types of situations. And let's say you like me for my personality, and you know you look past what your desire wants. You want a tall dude and muscular. But let's say you meet somebody that has my personality and the muscles and the looks. Who to say you ain't going to say, oh yeah, I'm done with Javon. I'm out. I'm about to go slide to him.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's a lot of people, and this goes with women too. Like I feel like I look at a lot. I know a lot of women personally who feel like they need to wear makeup. They gotta wear makeup with their man. They feel like they cannot be natural because of that. Because like the guys they with love girls with makeups, you know. So I feel like they're changing your body and they get jealous. And I feel like that's another failure in relationships.
Yeah, I haven't really seen too many of that. Well, too much of that though. Like a lot of the times, guys love when she's not wearing any makeup at all. Like it's very rare when I see that they can only see their woman with makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible that you see more of that because you are in Florida, like the southern state, and we're in the Midwest, so we probably don't see that as much.
Honestly, I don't really see a lot of women wear a lot of makeup here. Honestly, it's more natural. I like my woman natural because if I'm with you, we most likely go sleep together, and I'm going to see you in the morning without it. And it's like seeing you without it, without makeup, like you'll be attracted to me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like you have to do all that. But here, I
Mhm.
honestly would say the women I did date in the past, they never wore makeup like that, so I would never in that situation. Except for my last past relationship I dated 2 years with, she felt like she didn't wear makeup like excessively, but she felt like she needed because she felt like she was ugly. Because that's what I said, and that's what goes back
Mhm.
to our certain traits that we talked about that cause failures in relationship is communication, um, insecurity, and jealousy and controlling. I felt like she felt
Mhm.
like she had to compete with other girls that started to like me that did wear that makeup or they look already naturally beautiful, like they don't need it. And she felt like she needed that to compete. So I felt like that caused more friction in the relationship, you know? that's when I felt like that's because I used to tell her like I like you beautiful to me. Like I like you don't need that. I like she be like I do need it. I do need it. You're just saying that. I was like, dude. I like so. I always say this to somebody I date. If they say they need makeup, and I'll be like, and they say they're ugly, or they're saying they're ugly. Period. I like so you're telling me that I attract ugly women. I always I always say that. Just because I like, to me, it doesn't matter how you look. But if you with me, you're gonna be the beautiful thing in the world. That's how I look at it. So I say when someone say I'm ugly, I'm gonna be like, or they're ugly, I'm gonna be like, so you're saying that I'm only good enough for ugly women? So I'd like, make them laugh. That's how I roll. But that's why I say insecurity and
or being in a past relationship that you were just required to wear makeup or just always wore it around your man.
yes,
Or
and we're actually. And Rachel, you was about to say something?
I was just gonna say sometimes we don't heal from like past relationships. So I think that's where a lot of the insecurities come from. It also could be not even from relationships, it could be from stuff that people, told you growing up, or some traumas that you had in your childhood that you just have never gotten over. Um, so we tend to like carry those into adulthood. We tend to
yeah,
carry them into our
I meant
relationships.
to say that too. Like your childhood brings a lot into what you are now.
Right.
Yes, and
So I think it's important to be with someone who knows how to nurture those unhealed wounds and knows how to care for you and just knows, I guess, your weaknesses
yes.
and vice versa.
Yes, and I'm glad that y'all just said it because that ties perfectly what I was just about to get into, which is going into physical abuse, mental abuse, and emotional abuse.
Hey, what's up? This is Javon, owner of Mimi on the Block. This show will continue in a few moments. I just want to take some time to shout out the Anchor app. Anchor is the free app that actually helps build your own podcast channel. If you've been a fan of Mimi on the Block, then you definitely have to download the Anchor app. Guess what? It's free. And it has a lot of good helpful tips to help you start your own podcast channel. Thanks for the love. Please like, comment, and share. Mimi on the Block. Peace out.
Girl, you on my line, tell me what to do. I'm trying to get a day, but you keep on dissing niggas.
I feel like that's all plays a part. It doesn't matter what relationship you're in. I feel like everyone experienced one of those things: physical abuse, emotional abuse, and mental abuse. And I feel like that caused problems, unhealed wounds, like Rachel said, in future relationships.
Yeah.
Because everybody is very prideful. They don't like to express their business because they feel like they will be judged at or they will be looked a certain way. And I'll be honest, it's things that I went through that I don't tell people because I feel like I have to keep it inside. I feel like no one will understand what I went through. They'll just judge me. They'll just give me certain criticism that I don't need to hear. So, I lock it in a box. And that's why I tell everybody on this podcast, this is a platform to release everything, to get people in habits of releasing that negative energy inside. Once you release it, you'll be more open and free. But I would say physical abuse, mental abuse, and emotional abuse are the main factors of broken relationships that cause those lack of trust, those insecurities, those miscommunications, all those keys that we just said in the beginning, and failures of relationship. And I'm going to start with the first one, physical abuse. Now, I know a lot of people, in my situation, I never, I did experience it. And what I mean by experience physical abuse was I was a witness to it, where I dated a young lady and her sister was getting physical abuse by her baby daddy all the time. Every day he would lay a hand on her all the time. It got to the point where she separated from him, lived with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and it got to the part where she won't leave him alone. Like I literally had conversations with her saying that's not okay. Not okay. But she felt like it was so bad that she felt like she had to constantly keep seeing her. She couldn't leave. And I noticed a lot of people are in those situations. And I can't really understand that because I feel like if I get hit or abused, like, oh, it's over. Like, like I'm out. Like, but I can't really speak
Right.
on that for a male that's in that situation or a woman that's in that situation that's choosing to stay because I can't understand it. And I was like, do you know from your point of view, from a woman's point of view, if you're in a situation where you're constantly getting abused, do you see why women are staying when they have options to leave? Like, well, I don't understand that.
I've personally never experienced it, but um I've personally never experienced the physical abuse aspect, but I feel like I've experienced the mental and
Okay.
emotional enough to understand why somebody would stay um if it was physical.
Mm-hmm.
I just think sometimes when there is a child involved, people are more likely to stay. Um, or if you're married to somebody, you're more likely to stay. Or even if you live with somebody, you're more likely to stay. I recently worked with someone who was being abused by her ex-husband, and they lived together. And she would just come to work, some days she'd be happy, some days she'd be crying. And I just remember everybody there just trying to help her get out of that toxic relationship. And you could tell days she would be putting in the effort, but other days she just was so drained that she couldn't. But her situation was she lived with this man and he kind of provided for her. So, in order for her to leave, she would have needed to, make enough money for her to move away from him, develop relationships with people that would support her in her decisions. So, I feel like a lot of the time it takes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
work to get out of those situations, whether it's a divorce or, going to court to see if you can get custody of your child. Um, So I think when people decide to stay or end up staying, it kind of leads back to situations like those where it's not always so easy or simple, or, sometimes they just don't have anywhere else to go. You might have people telling you, like, yeah, you can always talk to me, or if you need me, I'm there for you. But um, at the end of the day, you kind of have to determine if that's reality or not. And I think for a lot of those people, that's not really reality.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. And it's sad, and I feel like if you're listening today and you're in a situation where you're in a physical abuse, mental abuse, or emotional abuse relationship, feel free to contact any family member and talk, or any friend, or if you choose to talk to me, or I don't know, I don't want to open your line, Ray or Talani, like I don't know if you are open to. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So if you
definitely.
feel free
Yeah,
to
yeah.
talk to anybody, you can always reach out to them. Their social media will be in the description of the episode. We're here to talk about it. You're not alone in these types of situations. Everybody been through it. And Rachel, I definitely agree with you. I've been through mental abuse. Now, mental abuse and emotional abuse are the same to my aspect. And before I get into that, Talani, I know you was about to say something. Do you have anything to say after Rachel's comment?
Um, I don't think I've experienced any of these. I kind of, um, I feel like a lot of, again, going back to the way we grew up, like a lot of women say they can see what their mother went through, or say, like, a lot of women can say, like, oh, well, my mom used to say, like, you can't upset the man, and you always got to keep the man happy so they don't get upset with you and everything. So they may grow up being in a relationship saying, like, oh, he hit me, but he still loves me and everything, and I know I trust him and I love him, but I can't be single. I can't live without a man or someone in
Mm-hmm.
my life. That's what I was saying. I think it's okay to be single sometimes and just being alone and on your own and kind of finding yourself for a lot of women.
Right.
But
Mhm.
yeah, you can go ahead.
Oh no, I was definitely agreeing. I was actually about to say I recently saw that commercial. I had that commercial in the description as well. It was on Twitter where it shows exactly what y'all saying, which is crazy how everything is falling in place perfectly. What y'all saying is because it was a commercial where it says you're the person how you was raised, something like that. And it showed like it showed a little girl, like she was like 5, and she was running outside to play with these friends. But the boy
Yeah, I
slammed the
saw
door in her
that.
face, and then the mother was like, "It's
Mm-hmm.
okay, he just loves you." And I feel like, and then it showed like
Mm-hmm.
later on, the older she got, he was being more abusive, and then she would always say, "Okay, he just loves me." And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's a trigger to a lot of people where they feel like if they do get abused, it's their fault why they got hit. And I feel like that's
Right.
why it probably triggers for people to stay in those relationships. Because they'll be like, okay, what did I do to get the reason? Why did I do? What did I do to get hit? Or what did I do to get this treatment? It must have been my fault. It's like how
Mm-hmm.
getting a whooping or a punishment is your fault. That's why you were punished. So I feel like they learn. They feel like, okay, I got to do it this way. They don't think that, oh, I should not be treated like this. And this goes back to how you were raised. But I like to just point out none of these 3 things, emotional abuse, mental abuse, or physical abuse, is okay at all. If you're getting hit, if you're feeling like you're less than a human being, leave that situation. You don't deserve that. Y'all deserve the world, especially women. I feel like men cannot live on earth without women. I'm not gonna say that because
I
we
mean,
I
we've been
agree.
destroyed. We fight over
we
we
are the, creators of the world. We bring people into this world and everything.
exactly, and we fight over the most dumbest things. We fight over dice. We fight over who ate my sandwich. People be getting killed left and
Facts.
right. You know what I'm saying? So like women actually bring the balance. And I feel like now I know the brothers that's listening right now, I know y'all be like, man, you choosing side. Look, I'm being real right now. I just said women, y'all the creator of everything, y'all deserve the world, and women empowerment is cool. But I just want, especially to my women viewers that's listening and watching on the Anchor app, that y'all don't deserve that. And I feel like if you're in that situation, reach out for help because you only got one life, and that's not cool. And I just say, for
Right.
me personally, I've been through the mental and emotional because I feel like it's the same. And when I say the reason why it's the same is when
Mm-hmm.
you give your heart to someone, and this leads into our next topic as well, is cheating. For me, my ex cheated 3 times, 7, and I never did. I always
Mm-hmm.
had a code to, I would say, where I would not be like the average man. I look at it every day. I applied it to my younger brothers, applied it to my sister as well. I look at it, if you like someone, you before you even talk to that person or shoot your shot, you think about every other man. For my brothers or ladies, you think about every girl. I think about every other man or woman. How would they approach that person? If they approach the same way, you do the complete
Mm-hmm.
opposite. That's how you stand out. And what I saw growing up is a lot of dudes, a lot of men dogged their dog women. They played around. They like to pass them around. They like to think it's okay to do that, and that's not right. So I always felt like a woman should be treated royalty. So me doing that in a relationship with somebody for 2 years, when I'm 19, I didn't even experience my college life really yet. So for me to just hang out and just be loyal to somebody and then get cheated on 3 times, that crushed me because I didn't. It was like it was no excuse for her to cheat. She didn't even have a reason to cheat, and
Mm-hmm.
she told me that she didn't have a reason to cheat. She don't know why she did it. So that actually kind of
Mm-hmm.
messed up with me, and she left. So it's like I didn't get the closure I needed. I did everything that
Mm-hmm.
a girl would want a man to do for them, and I still got cheated. So I felt like I should be like the guys that dogs the girls. So when I started doing those traits to other women, I just realized that I just dishonored my code, which I did, and it caused toxic. It became
Right.
toxic to me, and I feel like that's what ties into bad relationships, where we talked about how you was raised, and we talked about unhealed
Mm-hmm.
wounds from past relationships. And I feel like the way to deal with that is through meditation. And what Talani just pointed out is to learn how to love and be by yourself. Because I feel like if you changing just because of what you did, what happened to you in the past, or what you experienced, if you're changing to a totally different person, or you out there for revenge, or you out there doing that because you blaming what you went through, then that shows you don't love yourself. Because once you love yourself, it doesn't matter what you go through,
Right.
because you're gonna be the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I just learned.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
now, do y'all have any situations where, or your people y'all know that went through that, that's constantly in these situations, you feel like certain traits or habits that can start working on to get out of those type of mindsets?
Um, Personally, I feel like I've experienced mental and emotional abuse in a good amount of my relationships. Um, and I would just credit that to me being very open and very nice and very giving. Um, and I think a lot of the time when men see that in a woman, especially very early on in a relationship, they tend to take advantage of it. So in my case, I feel like I started to develop a like victim mindset whenever I felt like I was experiencing mental or emotional abuse. It was just kind of like, well, what am I doing wrong? You know, why am I being treated like this?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, I kept feeling like it was something that I was doing wrong. When in reality, I just learned that nobody should be treated like that. And the world is not a perfect place. You are going to meet people that treat you shitty. You just kind of have to know who you are at the end of the day and not let situations change your character. Um, I found a lot of the time I step outside of my character when I feel like I'm being disrespected or abused. And I just kind of have to reflect at the end of the day on who I am and who I was before I got into this situation. Um, so I think that that's important when trying to get out of those moments. Um, and not to say that men are always the
Yeah.
abusers in relationships,
A lot.
because women can be
Yes.
abusers as
All
well.
three. Mentally,
So,
physically abusive. Definitely women can be play a part in that.
mhm.
Okay, okay.
Because it's a lot of the times
um,
for women, they know they can hit, slap, punch, bite the man, and a lot of the times the man is respectful enough not to touch them. But to me, that's not fair.
mhm,
Like, um, I had a friend, and her boyfriend got into a physical fight. It was late, and they both were drunk, and another guy called her phone pretty late. So they had got into like a physical fight, and it came to the
mhm,
point where she was like trying to run him over with the car and calling the police on him and everything. I just feel like those type of situations you have to be really really careful about, and especially with the women, because there's a lot of time where someone can snap and do something very very stupid.
Mm.
mhm.
So yeah.
I I I feel like it's almost a lot more acceptable or less frowned upon when a woman is like toxic or abusive. Because going back to where you said that she almost ran him over with her car, I was just reflecting on how many women I've heard say that they've done that to a guy or they were going to. And a lot of the time, we don't even really bat an eye at it. We're just like, oh, okay, well, you're crazy. That's like the first word we throw out. Like, oh, well, she's crazy. And we don't really look at that as being abuse, but at the end of the day, that is what that is. And I think the sooner people reflect and meditate or seek therapy or just get some alone time with themselves, they'll understand that those traits are not healthy. Um, as well as me saying that I've experienced mental or emotional abuse, I've had moments where I feel like I was the one doing the abusing as well. Um, and I wasn't able to reflect on it until months later, until I was able to see how much I had grown. Because there's times where I look back on like old text messages and I'm just like, oh, I was being, extremely toxic, or, I wasn't in a good headspace. So it's definitely important that you grow out of those habits so you can see where you were wrong in past situations and you can develop from there.
All right, cool. And I feel like those were all good advice, good key points we talked about in negative relationships. And people, if you're definitely got to replay this, definitely listen over and over. Reach out to us if you have any questions about it. And I'd like to switch right now to get to some hype things, and now we can laugh, get right into it because we are getting close in time. So we talked about the negative stuff in the relationship. Let's just have some fun with it now. Um, can y'all? I call these. A lot of people voted on it earlier. What the dirty, dirty questions? Okay, what I mean by that is, can y'all? A lot of people told me. I did a vote. I said, can you be in a relationship with somebody? Um, that doesn't satisfy your certain needs. Can you still stick in a relationship? And if someone doesn't satisfy your certain needs, um, do you think it's be kind of rude if they leave just because of that, or like how you feel about that? If that makes sense. I don't know how to answer that question. That they submitted.
Um,
Mm,
I I'm gonna say yes to the answer of can you leave? Like, I personally feel like in my relationships, if I'm not being satisfied, I am going to try to communicate with you or discuss with you what I need from you. Um, I have never cheated in any of my relationships, so that's not even an option. Um, but if I get to a point where I don't even feel like I need to continue communicating with you, then
Time to bounce.
there's
yes,
something,
then
something.
yeah, because
Mm.
I don't,
Oh no, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I don't know. I personally feel like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I might grow out of this feeling, but I feel like if I'm in a relationship with you and we understand each other and, where our communication is great, then I should be able to satisfy you. You should be able to satisfy me. I'm not saying that to say that that person is automatically going to know how to do that or whatever you need. But if they are not putting in the effort to do so, then yes, I feel like it's justified to leave.
Yeah, I think it's always best to discuss it, and even if you two think two different things, you guys can still find some way to manage it, because it's best if he or she, at least both of y'all, is respectful towards each other's feelings, because if something is off there, then it's not going to work out. Obviously, we're going to point out what's, who's doing what wrong.
Mm.
Like, you wanna, you mean, satisfy me, I satisfy you. is that we have to, you know, at least be on the same page. You know, I'm not the one to give up that easy. Like, I will try and try. Hopefully something change. I never want to change anybody, but like I said, just the communication, and like as long as both of you are at least comfortable with it, then I think it's okay. But yeah, we definitely have to like at least be on the same page with it.
Exactly. And it all goes
Mm-hmm.
part to the keys that we basically talked about. I feel like you in this situation, you got to be upfront with that person. There's no, I'll call it fake masking, because a lot of people put on a face and a mask at the beginning of getting to know somebody else just to get what they want, and they're going to change up later through the relationships. I hear a lot of stories about that. A lot of people actually want to build a relationship, and a lot of people just want to have one night stands. Once they get what they want, they start switching up and act like whatever they told them was a lie, and it was just fantasy making them crazy. And trust, and I feel like you just gotta be 100 with somebody. If you just want a one night stand somebody, I'd rather you just come and say that. Maybe they down with it, maybe they're not with it, but it's caused a less drama for both of y'all. Like, no one's feelings getting hurt. Like, you can just move on to the next. And I feel like that's the main problem, is just being upfront with somebody and just communicating. I say out of the whole relationship that we have, is communication. Because in order to have a successful relationship, in order to be with somebody with 100% like energy, you have to know what like you're getting out of it before you jump in. If you lie about it, or if you hide information, it could cause problems later time, which will cause the stress, insecurity, the cheating, trust, all that emotional abuse and all that. But I feel like it is a lot of programs out there for people who are in these situations that wants more relationship advice. Personally, go ahead.
And then, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there are some relationships out there that are open.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning open relationships. So like, the guy can go and see other people, but still come home to her. She can go and see other guys, still come home to him.
Oh yeah, I can't do that.
We always like maybe having threesomes.
Oh no, I cannot do that. What? I thought,
Yeah,
I heard about it, but I thought that
relationships
was
are
like in
very rare
movies or something.
today.
Like,
I wouldn't do that, but no, yeah.
I mean,
There are a lot of open relationships.
This is very, very common. Like, these are called polygamous
oh my
relationships.
Lord, I'm asleep.
And I feel like they're
Easily
a lot. They're
walk up
very
to a
common
chick
these
like,
days.
"Hey, like, you want to have sex with me and my husband tonight?"
I'll be
And then
like,
just be like,
nah.
he said, "Nah."
I mean, I'll be honest. Look, if anybody listening, y'all in an open relationship, do you, baby? Y'all good. Y'all good. I had no problem with that. I'm just speaking on my personal interest. I'm not with that. Cause I'm not saying I'm controlling, but no, like, I ain't sharing. I'm stingy, bro. Like, no one can understand. No one can kiss my lady or do whatever they want to do to that's my lady. Like, no. I would throw up. Like, I can't imagine her come back from home. How was your day today, babe? Well, I went to John's house, and we did the thing, and then after that I went to Clifford yesterday. Clifford, and but how I can't I can't do it. But if you're in those type of things, you like it, then hey, communicate. You know what I'm saying? Just don't jump into that type of stuff without communicating first and making sure that it's okay with your partner. But I would say just communicate with your partner. And don't be scared to say how you feel. Because if you're scared to tell your own partner that you have how you feel, then you should not be dating. And this goes for people that's in marriage. I know we talked about a lot of relationships, like dating, but this is in marriage too. A lot of people go to physical abuse, emotional abuse. You know how you're supposed to be treated, especially women. Y'all are royalty and y'all are queens. Y'all control everything. Y'all control the earth. Y'all control life. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're less than a human being. Period. It doesn't matter if you're dating somebody, you've been 2 years, you're married, you don't deserve that at all. And you know how you're supposed to be treated and want to be treated. And if your partner or husband not giving you that satisfaction, then leave. You don't want to wait later in life and cause more problems in your life just because you're scared to leave. It's okay to leave because you got people who love and care about you that would help you and get through this tough time. And I just want to personally say thank you for Rachel, chillray, 22_lane, being a guest on this episode 1 podcast of relationships. I actually had some questions. Rachel, did you still do your business with the bracelets?
Rachel?
And Rachel has disconnected. She had left today, so pretty much everybody that's listening today, Rachel does do her own business. I think she still does it where she makes handmade bracelets. They are located in the Michigan area. That's where I'm originally from, so I did want to shout out, the home on the first episode. But if you do have ideas,
and she also has a. Oh, well, go ahead.
You are so rude.
I know I said cutting people off.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead real quick.
No, since she also has another business called Eats by Ale, I believe.
Oh yeah, the trees, right? The candy.
This past Valentine's Day, I ordered some chocolate covered strawberries, chocolate covered pretzels, and cake pops from her, and she did an amazing job. So
exactly. So if
it's also on Facebook. She has a Facebook page for it. I believe it's called Eats by Ale, ELLE. You guys can check that out as well.
Definitely. So if you're in the Michigan area, y'all in quarantine, I know y'all ain't doing nothing. So it's just a good time to eat, lay loose, get a little fat. Feel me? So hit up Eats by Ale. Hit up chillray on Instagram to get more information on the treats from there. And we also have to shout out 22_lane, which is Tulani on the line.
Yes, follow me. I am currently what's the word? I was gonna say aspiring. I'm an actor.
Actress.
Yes, I'm an actress, and I do little skits and things on my page. So come and follow me if you want to laugh, or you don't have to laugh. Just look at it. It's nice.
Yeah, and we all about good vibes, man. Everybody on this show, the point of this podcast is a platform where it's to build others that doesn't have the type of exposure that we see other people have. They don't have the network. We're all about branding our own people. Everyone that doesn't have this type of network. So if you have any questions or any topics you want to hear me discuss, please just let me know. You can hit me up on Instagram, Sino Javon. Every platform is Sino Javon. Even my Apple Music, Spotify music out there. Show some love. But this was episode 1, man. I definitely appreciate everybody that's listening. Shout it out. Share a friend. Next episode will be released every Monday at 9:30 a.m. Every Monday. Season 1 will be released on every Monday at 9:30 a.m. And once again, I just want to thank Rachel for being on the show, aka Juice being on the show. You will hear him on part 2 of episode 1. It will be 2 episodes, parts for episode 1 that will be released on May 8th, 9:30 a.m. So you will definitely hear it while you're listening. So stay tuned for aka Juice segment on his thoughts on relationship advice. And I just want to say thank you, Tulani, for being on the show, my road dog, and appreciate you.
No problem.
All right. So this was Sino Javon. Meet me on the block. We are out of this mud. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to Meet Me on the Block podcast. Episodes will be released every Monday at 9:30 a.m. And I definitely appreciate all the love and support I've been receiving so far. So please remember to leave a like, comment, and share. And also DM me any topics that you want to hear me discuss in the future. This platform is all about you. And also remember to follow me on all social media pages at Sino Javon. Peace out.